What is up? 2 minutes in the box with Gordo. Sorry for being MIA for the last few days. We got a lot of news and rumors and updates we got to take care of. This is the 2 minutes in the box with Gordo, the daily grind news, rumors, and updates. Let's get to it. Last night, game one, crazy, crazy game. You know, Toronto losing Stolars with a little bump from Sam Bennett. Paul Maurice saying, yeah, I've been watching it since him bumping like that since he was 12 years old. And then, sure, and then, it's crazy. I saw on social media that Toronto fans don't care. And the Florida Panther fans, that's their guy from last year. They're worried about him. You know, it just makes me wonder, is this a sign? Last year, the Florida Panthers lose game one to the Boston Bruins, and they still won the series. It's not the end of the world. Toronto, though, every time they win a game, it feels like they won the Stanley Cup. It's just obnoxiously annoying. I mean, this is their first lead in a second round playoff since 2004. 2004, get over it. The last time a goaltender that the Toronto Maple Leafs lose in the middle of a series, this is going to sound crazy. We're going back to 1967. We're going back to 67 here, guys, when Terry Sawchuk filled in for Johnny Bauer when Johnny Bauer got hurt in the middle of the series. All right. And this was 1967. And this is when the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup. I mean, yeah, it's a curse buster, like Stolars gets hurt, right? We know that the last time a Leaf goalie came into the playoff action for injury relief and won a game was, get ready, 1967 when Terry Sawchuk came in for Johnny Bauer, game five, round one. Yeah, how crazy coincident that is. That is crazy. You know, I believe this series is going to go maybe 6 or 7 games. And Florida is no slouch. I mean, they struggled the first half of the game. Bob was off. It was not a pretty game. The shots on goal were almost even. The Panthers were good on the power play. The Leafs, they just got dominated on the PK by the Florida Panthers. William Nylander, though. William Nylander, what a game for him. 33 seconds into the game, get Pacioretty and Jake McCabe the assist. And then Nylander does it again with Oliver Ekman-Larsson, ex-Florida Panther, and Max Pacioretty yet again. Damn. Then Zach Jones comes in, gets the PPG, and then Matthew Tkachuk and Carter Verhaeghe were the assists, and then Morgan Riley comes in. Wayne Nylander gets another assist. Oh my God, this game gets crazy. This was after the first period. Second period, Chris Tanev makes a crazy bounce of a shot, and Jake McCabe and Matty Nyes got the assist on that one. And then Eetu Listerainen gets the goal in the third period, the minute and 40 in with Lundell and Brad Marchand. Marchand's been having one heck of a playoff. What a great pickup. 6 assists so far in the playoffs. Used his ballskins, played very well. Got that one. Nate Schmidt got the primary. Brad Marchand got the other assist. And then Nyes put the icing on the cake, gets his fourth of the playoffs. Mitch Marner gets the primary, eighth of the playoffs. Very valuable player. Happy belated birthday, by the way. And congratulations of you and your wife having your first child. Congratulations, Mitch. Congratulations. And Tanev gets the secondary assist. And Sam Bennett with almost a minute, I mean, like almost like 2 minutes left in the game. And then Verhage gets it. But yeah. And you know that Sam Bennett's not going to get suspended. He's not getting suspended. And Ekblad's going to be jumping back in the lineup tomorrow night. This right here is going to be a back and forth battle. And I believe this one is going to go to 7 games. And I believe Shady Acres is going to be open up for, Paul Bizinet and others who are Leaf fans obsessed. And I tell you, Paul, we love you. We get it. You missed the Arizona Coyotes. Now you're on the Toronto Maple Leaf bandwagon. Gary Bettman, Bill Daly, etc. Please give Phoenix another NHL team so Paul Bizinek can be just like lovable and howling to the moon again. This is unhealthy. This Toronto obsession, especially with the media, just cringeworthy. Like Like and I'm looking forward to going to game three on Friday. This is going to be fun because, Toronto, it's the epicenter. And don't forget, in South Florida, and the tickets are more affordable anyway. I got a feeling this is going to be one of those series. It feels like 2 years ago. 2 years ago feels like 1 minute ago. I got a feeling that this is going to, I believe the Panthers will get three straight. Toronto will get two. And then game seven will come. And if Florida gets it in controversy, and the Leafs are going to probably, riot worse than, Vancouver in 2011. Yeah. And I want to go, and I forgot to mention this on my podcast in previous episodes I did not mention. I went 6 for 8 on my predictions in the first round. I went 6 for 8. Pretty goddamn good, right? Pretty goddamn good. Take a guess who lost. Oh, yeah. I had LA being Edmonton. And now Edmonton goes four straight, and then LA's out. And now they just got rid of Rob Blake and Jim Hiller. And now LA is going to be lost in the offseason, trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do in the offseason. And meanwhile, I had Colorado beating the Dallas Stars in seven. The Avalanche were supposed to beat the Stars in seven, and the Avalanche choked that series too. They had a 2-0 lead, and Mika Rantanen basically gave them the biggest middle finger of all time. Should have never traded me, and I ended up coming back to haunt you with 4 points in the third period with a hat trick. The only man to do it in game seven history in any series, and it was like a big middle finger. I mean, oh my God. I mean, can you believe it? Can you goddamn believe Mika Rantanen? And I figured it would have happened. Well, what a hilarious way. What a big middle finger F you. You trade me to Carolina, and then I'm gonna get you guys back, and I did it my way, and boom. Hey, how's that looking for you now? And then freaking like now second round, now I got to go play against the Winnipeg Jets. And that game, double overtime game seven, was sick. I give St. Louis Blues a lot of credit. That team has got a bright future, and they are a very good team, and I think they're going to be back next season. I like the leadership with Jim Montgomery. I like the team they've got assembled. And yeah, and speaking of the St. Louis Blues, Torrey Krug is officially done with hockey. He will never be playing in the NHL again due to injury he sustained and surgery, and the doctors advised him that he is never going to be playing in the NHL again. And I'll tell you, that injury was really bad. That ankle injury, really, really bad. And yeah, very, very sad indeed. And yeah, now I want to talk about an interesting story I got earlier today that Vinny Viola is potentially going to be an NBA owner for the expansion Las Vegas franchise. Well, LeBron is going to be going to jail. Tough break, LeBron. Should have never attended those Diddy parties. So, Vinny Viola is investing in a NBA franchise with some crazy like water park, theme park type of thing going on. But there are reports that Vinny Viola is getting John to be the president and CEO of the new NBA expansion franchise in Las Vegas. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. I got a good source of mine. In Las Vegas, called me up earlier today that Vinny Viola is going to buy an NBA expansion franchise in Sin City. I would have done, buying Vegas. I would have not buy Vegas expansion. I would have just bought the Pelicans and get them out of that god awful city of New Orleans, and it would have been a cheaper way. But expansion, what the hell? I mean, like 3.5 billion. I mean, I hope Vinny Viola's got enough in the checking account, and also, hopefully, he's got a strong investment group and a good, strong investment in return. And now, yeah, so, and the draft lottery was insane last night. The draft lottery was insane last night. The New York Islanders had a 3.5% chance of getting the number one overall pick. Number one overall pick. And I gotta tell you, wow, the New York Islanders, I give you guys a lot of applause. I'm very happy for this franchise. Very happy indeed. You guys deserve it. This franchise, they need a cornerstone. It's going to be a difficult choice. Remember, last time, the number one overall pick with the Islanders is 2009. It was a heavy debate It was between John Tavares, Victor Hedman, and Matt Duchene, and it was a very tough choice. And I personally chose John Tavares because John was the perfect catalyst player, a generational talent player, and yeah, he did provide for the Islanders success, but it wasn't enough. But 9 great years, but one playoff appearance and several playoff appearances, but it wasn't enough. But I think the New York Islanders, like it's a tough one. I mean, this is a tough list to look at for the New York Islanders. And in the 2025 draft, we've got a very interesting class indeed. There's no like number one, like Macklin Salbrini number one, no Bedard automatic number one. But looking at this list, the three players they are looking at for the New York Islanders. You've got Matthew Schaefer, who's a defenseman for the Erie Otters, 6'2", 183. He's a left-handed defenseman. And then you've got Michael Misa, number one overall pick in the OHL draft by the Saginaw Spirit. He was a winger, but converted to center, 6'1", 184. Saginaw Spirit, OHL. He was an exceptional status player, drafted number one as a young kid. And also, we got James Haggins. He's from Long Island, played his college hockey at Boston College. And this is going to be a tough choice. I mean, this will be a very difficult choice for the New York Islanders. Do you go with a defenseman and Matt Schaefer, who can be basically be a cornerstone for the franchise? And you got Noah Dobson, and Dobson's been off his game the last year or so. And then you got Michael Misa. The Islanders need some help up front. I mean, Bo Horvat was like their leading point getter. That was, this Islanders squad was a disaster. And you got James Higgins, and he had 37 points in 37 games. And the question is, do you think they're gonna go like unpredictable, like what they did back in 2000 with Rick DiPietro instead of taking Danny Heatley or Marion Gabrick? And it's a tough choice. Honestly, I'm in a crossroads. If I take James Higgins, I give him another year at college, give him to develop. You've got a great core, Polkinen. You've got Cal playing for the Oshawa Generals. And then you've got, you know, one of the most interesting players and the New York Islanders in the prospect field. You got Cole Eichmann. That's a pretty damn good stat right there. The New York Islanders, though, they got a great core of players. They've got a great core of players. This right here, I'll tell you, the New York Islanders winning a lottery that they shouldn't have won the lottery. You got Cal Ritchie. You've got a very good player with 70 points. What a great steal from trading for Brock Nelson. I mean, he got 70 points in the OHL this past season. Got Cole Eichmann, 36 points in 39 games. He had 25 goals. Play on the wing, man. And you got Normie right there, and you've got a very good squad. And also you got Jesse Polkinen, defenseman. I mean, this is going to be a very unique New York Islanders squad. And I'm intrigued. I'm excited for what's going to come from the New York Islanders. They got a bright future. And speaking of bright future, that the GM search. Oh my, you've got Lou Lamoriello being let go and seeing the list of GMs, and I'm hearing reports that Ken Holland could be the next GM of the New York Islanders, and they've also had talks with Mark Bergevin, and then you had Jarmo Kekalainen and Peter Chiarelli and all that stuff. This is like earlier today, and I gotta say, Ken, I like you. You're a great guy. I know that, you've done successful, but you backstab Steve Eichmann, but I don't know about having you in charge. I want to be outside of the box. I would definitely be outside the box. I like Jarmo Kekalainen. Peter Chiarelli, not so much. Bergevin, good dude. I think Bergevin's going to get promoted as the new GM and VP of hockey ops of the LA Kings. So Bergevin is out of the question. And I really been hearing this one with Jeff Gordon. He could be the new GM for the Islanders. He was with the New York Rangers for a long time, but I think Jeff Gordon is going to stay with Montreal. And then I see the assistant GM, Kate Madigan. No way. I don't think it's going to happen. I believe it's down to two people. I believe it's down to two people. I think it's either going to be Ken Holland or Neil Smith. Ken Holland, dude, you got what you wanted. You got your Stanley Cups. You're a Hall of Fame executive. Dude, I like you. You're a good guy. But if I were the owner of the New York Islanders, I would take Neil Smith. I know it's controversial, but I like Neil much more because he should have had his chance, but no. 40 days is not enough. He didn't want to sign Rick DiPietro today, insane contract. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for one bit. Neil Smith has my vote. And if he doesn't, if he's not named, I'll tell the Islanders, I would like to be GM. I would love to run the Islanders. I know what it takes. I know the culture. I know their fan base. I know everything about the New York Islanders. Just give me a chance. I will do the job right. And the players I know very well. But listen, Ken Holland, Neil Smith, and this guy right here. This guy would be a great GM for the Islanders. But I got to hide from Rob Tallis because Rob Tallis be like, you SOB, I knew it all along. You're going to be hanging out with those guys. Oh, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. Mad Dog's going to get you too. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? You guys are coming along with me. I'm bringing Mad Dog and Rob Tallis. Those are my first two hires. Then I'm going to bring Shaky, Richard Krause. I'm going to bring Teddy Richards and my management team. I'm going to bring the equipment staff part of my management team. Yeah, you go like that one, So basically, I'm going to have a very well-prepared staff who knows what the hell they're doing. Yeah, I'm going to bring the best of the best around if I was a nominee for the New York Islanders and hire me. For the love of God, hire me. It would be fun, though. But, and the other thing, too, about that draft lottery, what about Utah? Utah Hockey Club spiking up to number 4. Very good indeed. Very good indeed. Very good indeed for Utah Hockey Club. And then the Red Wing fans, they're complaining about how come we never going to get number 1? Because the last time he took a number 1 pick, he didn't pan out well. You could have had Jimmy Carson, but no. That was a screw up. But I'll tell you, Dylan Larkin cost you the number 1 pick. And his complaining about not doing enough at the trade deadline really cemented his legacy as a Detroit Red Wing. I would trade Dylan Larkin any day of the week. He's above average. And all the fans like, oh my God, Gordo, he's a superstar. I don't care. He's from Waterford, Michigan. I don't care where you're from, bro. We got too many native Michiganders on the team. I would trade you and I will sign Connor McDavid to a max deal. And that's how you're going to contend, with a real hockey organization. But I don't want Dylan Larkin on my team anymore. The way he behaved in that press conference, expressing unhappiness with management. Well, listen here, Dylan. If Montreal and St. Louis did not do anything at the deadline and still made the playoffs, they did something right. You, on the other hand, got lazy in the second half and didn't provide. You're just as bad as Keith freaking Primo. Your ass is gone. I trade you. And I would be, and Steve Yzerman would do the same thing. Steve Yzerman would be on the same team as me. The media doesn't like Dylan Larkin anymore. He hasn't provided. If the Red Wings had to do it all over again, they should have taken David frickin' Pasternak. He was still available, but you had to take the University of Michigan kid. He hasn't provided anything. He's not a point per game player. Trade his ass. I don't care. Trade him. It's over. And now let's get to the Vancouver Canucks. They got the 15th overall pick, and they are trying to bring a proven center. I mean, if I was Vancouver, I would flip with Utah to get the 4th overall pick. This franchise is a mess. They are a dumpster fire of a mess, and don't forget, you've got Ottawa looking for forwards in the offseason. You've got Nikolai Ehlers. You've got Brock Besser. You've got Mitch Marner. And then you got also on, with Ramis Anderson. And if the Calgary Flames don't get agree to a contract extension. Yeah, very interesting indeed. And Dylan Cousins, you know, I believe that, Batherson could be on the trade block and then get Cousins a contract extension as well. Yeah, this is very interesting indeed. Very interesting rumors indeed. Yeah. And then in the second round, you've got Washington Capitals against Carolina Hurricanes. I'm picking Carolina to go 6 or 7 games of this one. And then meanwhile, with our other matchup we're playing tonight, second matchup, we got the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. I got the Oilers winning in 7. I would like to see them lose in the conference finals. And then we got Dallas and Winnipeg. I am going to go, I'm split down the middle. I really like Winnipeg, but Dallas, on the other hand, I like to see Dallas, but I'm going to go 7 games, either or. I don't care. Let's just see what happens right there. And yeah, looking all this up, it's just kind of funny, it's kind of funny. Like Utah goes from 14 to 4, and then the New York Rangers, though, they have till June 25th to decide to keep the first round pick, the 12th overall, or send it to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And as a protected top 13, it was sent because of the JT Miller trade in January flipped. That the Penguins are the part of the Marcus Pettersson trade at the Rangers retain their unprotected 2026 first round pick will belong to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And yeah, speaking of that, here's the coincidence. What I just saw is that back in the 90s, the New York Rangers, 91-92, they won the President's Trophy. 92-93, they missed the playoffs. 1994, they hired a coach named Mike Keenan and won the Stanley Cup. And now 30 years later, now you got the New York Rangers winning the President's Trophy in 23-24. They get bounced in the conference finals. They missed the playoffs this year in 24-25, and they hire a coach named Mike Sullivan for the Pittsburgh Penguins, a potential way of deja vu. Oh, here we go again. Stanley Cup champs. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Rangers are a dumpster fire. They are a mess. Yeah. And now we got a Rookie of the Year candidate. So you've got something. This is going to be very interesting. You've got Macklin Celebrini for the San Jose Sharks. Then you got, Lane Hudson from the Montreal Canadiens defenseman. And you got goaltender Dustin Wolf, goaltender. And Michkov, Michkov had 26 goals and he had 63, 62 points. And it's wild, right? It's wild to see that you got Lane Hudson with 66 points, a record for a rookie defenseman with 22 minutes and 44 seconds, at least 25 games. And then the Flyer fans, like 26 goals, like I said, 63 points. And it's just crazy to see that, Lane Hudson and Celebrini, he's a finalist and Michkov did 10 fewer games missing games because of early season injury and the Tortorella treatment. And yeah, what a wild thing. And then, what was the thing with Dustin Wolf was that his contention to the playoffs and final days of the regular season, that gave him the edge over Michkov because the Flyers finished last in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. Yeah. Looking at that. Yeah. So looking at all this intel, Andrew Bruno is staying for another season with the Nashville Predators. And then Marc-Andre Fleury, he has a chance to be part of the Triple Crown. And this is going to be the real last hurrah because he gets to play with his teammate, Sidney Crosby, first time in the Worlds. I am going to be enjoying that. That is a feel-good story. And we are hearing that Luke Hughes had a successful shoulder surgery. Jasper Pratt undergoes shoulder surgery as well. Both will be ready by September. And speaking of which, of the New Jersey Devils and the Vancouver Canucks, Quinn Hughes could be on the move to New Jersey. New Jersey's got to come up with a non-type of deal, like a deal like you can't turn down. If I were New Jersey, I get all three brothers on the same team. Oh, shit's gonna be real. Shit is gonna be real, and New Jersey will be probably a second place team in the Metropolitan Division. And yeah, and the Ottawa Senators are hope to re-sign Claude Giroux to a contract extension. I'm going to say this: sign him, re-sign Claude Giroux. He's definitely helped the Sens out, and I believe it would be a very good deal for a 2, maybe 3 year contract extension. You still got some fight in him left. Give him a 2 or 3 year extension, Ottawa. That's what I would do. Yeah, and they're retaining their first round pick in 2025, which is a 21st overall. And the league's penalized the Sens on a first round, either 24, 25, or 26 because of the Evgeny Dadonov trade with the Vegas Golden Knights in March of 2022. If Ottawa gets back into the playoffs again next season and they go in a deeper round, then they will basically forfeit 2026 draft pick. Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to see. And William Eklund has successful wrist surgery, got slit, during a preseason tournament in the World Championships, and will be ready by September. And Spencer Knight will be ready next season, hoping to play 65 games. And the New York Islanders, going back to them, there are reports that the governor, Katie Hochul, she is not happy about the All-Star game and the festivities being canceled for a international event at UBS Arena. And, think about it. I got a feeling and conspiracy that it was planned all along. Stop complaining. We'll give you the number one draft pick. We'll give you the number one draft pick if you guys stop complaining about losing the All-Star game. Here we go. And, there's a conspiracy right there that you guys can debate. And lastly, we got the high pivoted profile coach of the University of Denver, David Carlisle, plans to stay at Denver for a long time, multi-contract year extension. I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing. If there were a exotic location, I would take it. If it's some, like lame duck type of situation, I wouldn't go. I think he did a smart thing to stay in college hockey. It's a very good thing. And I'll tell you, it's going to be a very interesting evening of hockey tonight. So, yeah. All right. This has been 2 Minutes in the Box with Gordo, the Daily Grind news, rumors, and updates. We'll be back here tomorrow for covering up tonight's episodes, and blah, 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 the games. We'll be back here tomorrow. The Daily Grind news, rumors, and updates never stops. Don't forget to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc., and Rumble and TikTok, everything else. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. Enjoy the hockey.